everybody, welcome back to Stacy So and So. I'm glad you decided to join me again this week. I know last week at the end of the video I said I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do, and I wasn't. And I started getting some questions. People wondering about how I make my cardigans or jackets of many colors. So I thought today what I would do is not so much a step-by-step tutorial, but kind of an overview on the process of how I make them. Because if you know how to sew already, sometimes it just helps to see how someone organizes it out so that you can figure out how you yourself can best do it. So first things first, let's start with our fabric scraps because that's where it all begins. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of flannel scraps. And so I just try to collect them all together first and put them in piles of coordinating colors. Next step is to decide which pattern you want to use. I am using, this is the Diana cardigan pattern from the Magic Pattern Book, which I have on my Amazon shop, and I'll be sure to link that in the bio. It's a fantastic book. I use it all the time. And this right here is the Diana cardigan. So the first piece I always cut out, I decide what my back panel is going to be. The back panel, you can patchwork the back panel if you want to. I typically will pick one solid color for the back, and I patchwork the sleeves and the two front pieces. So for this particular cardigan, instead of just flannel, I'm going to be mixing in a very thin corduroy. So this is going to be the back panel of my cardigan. So two tools that you're definitely going to need for this is a really good sharp pair of scissors, and you're going to need a lot of pins. And here is why. So the first thing I do is I take my pattern piece. This is one of the front pieces. And I start just taking out, because I have some pieces already cut, and figuring out how I want to lay them out. You want to make sure that you have enough fabric to cover your entire pattern piece, and make sure you still have a little extra on either side. I think I have about 1 inch on either side. So we're going to start with that piece, and then just start laying out what you like and cut them as you see fit. Like I might cut that one to that length. Let's see how I like that. Yeah, I like that together. That's good. Once you get these pieces where you want, that's where you need all of your pins. Now you could pin them right sides together because you are going to be sewing each of these patches right sides together. For me, it helps to do this first. It's just a visual thing for me. But you may decide to go ahead and just pin it together the way you're going to sew it. And that is totally fine to just, do what is best for you. And let's see, we might want to pick out like maybe this color next. Let's just take a good look at what we think. Not bad. Although I might instead want to use this further down here. So that's your first step. You're going to do this for all of your pieces. Now, since you're going to be doing this individually, like I'm going to do it for the right side and the left side. So let's say I have this all pinned together, and I have my fabric piece all together for the front left side of my cardigan. Once you do that and you get it all pinned and sewn together, you're going to flip your pattern piece over, and you're going to do it all over again for the front right side of your cardigan. Also, don't forget, you're going to need to do sleeves. So you're going to have to do it twice on this one pattern piece. So this is a section of panels that I have already sewn together, and this is actually for one of the sleeves. And as I'm putting it together, I do make sure that I test to just to ensure that I have enough all the way around to cut out my pattern piece. Now, before we start cutting out all of the pattern pieces, what I do next is I will give this a really good press, and then I will take it to my machine and do a decorative top stitch over each one of these seams. I like to use different colors of thread. So like for this one, I will probably use some navy blue and definitely use some green and possibly some ivory. So let me do that on here so you can see what it looks like, and then I will show you what a finished garment would look like. And as you can see, I have the decorative top stitching on everything, and I think it turned out really good. Okay, so now that you have all of the top stitching done, it is time to lay out your pattern pieces. Okay, so when you lay out your pattern piece, you want to make sure that you have enough around all of the edges, plus also make sure where you're laying it that you're catching enough of all of the pieces that you want to be included. And then the pinning process begins again. And so once you get all your pieces cut out, of course, you're going to just sew them together. Now, the other thing that I do is on the front and left pieces, I cut out a solid piece of fabric to back them with. And I'll show you when I'll show you a completed garment, and I'll be sure to show you that detail as well. And it's simple. I mean, if you know how to sew, you sew your right sides together, turn them inside out, and then you'll assemble your jacket. So let me show you the finished one that I have, and I'll show you some of the other details that I added to it. And this is one of the Patchwork Jackets completed. So let me show you a little bit about just some of the basic construction of it. So I make sure I line the two front pieces. And I really love the material that I had for this. It looks like little tiny violets. It's so pretty. So I line the two front pieces. I did not line the back or the sleeves. You can if you want to. It's not necessary. And then because I love the little violets so much, I decided to add another detail. And I did elbow patches on the jacket to match. So since this is an open kind of cardigan, if that flaps open, you'll be able to see that it matches the elbow patches. And this fabric coordinates beautifully with the rest of it anyway. But this is so pretty and it's so beautiful. It's a great layering piece that you can put over sweaters, jeans. It'll be a great holiday piece for somebody who loves purple. So thank you for joining me again this week. I hope you enjoyed this week's video that gives a little insight on my thought process and how I make the jackets or cardigans of many colors. If you saw my Christmas patchwork apron video about 3 weeks ago, it's a very similar process. It's very fun, it's very easy, and basically you're creating yardage of fabric using the scraps that you already have and then creating something beautiful with it. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you next time, and happy sewing.